And welcome to MorningFile. I'm your host, Emma McCarty, and today I am joined with Rayanne Banaga from the St. Joe's Youth Wellness Center. And we're here today to discuss their new mental health program for Black youth in the community. So to start, why don't we just go with an overview of the program?
So the program is basically twofold. So it's weekly workshops and then a peer support group. So every week we have on Tuesdays a workshop where we explore kind of educational topics that are specific and related to Black youth and mental health and some of those connections. And then we have a little bit of a discussion or some activities or kind of some skills that we're exploring. And then on the Wednesday, they're welcome to come to this group. And a support group where we have 5 facilitators who have been trained, they're youth facilitators. So they've been trained in peer support skills. And they basically just come into this room and they, build connections and they talk to each other kind of about whether it's the topic that we were talking about the day before or just what's relevant in their lives. And then they just kind of provide each other with kind of that community support.
Yeah, so what is the main aim of the program? What are we hoping to get out of it?
We're hoping to get more conversation started about mental health for Black youth, and then also skills, actual skills that they can carry with them and that help them to cope through some of their own difficulties. And the hope is also that those 5 facilitators who are taught in peer support are also carrying those skills out into the community, and this is kind of becoming a norm. And so they're sharing these skills and they're sharing this kind of new way of supporting each other, and that's becoming the norm that we can kind of hopefully spread that out into the wider community.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously this program is aimed at specifically Black youth within the community. Why is it so important to have a program aimed specifically at this group of people?
I think there's a lot of reasons, but even just topically, there's a lot going on social media and in the news about Black lives, and specifically for Black youth, they're on social media and they're seeing, videos of, people that look like them being actually murdered. And we've created this norm where it's okay for people to watch murder on video, and specifically for Black youth, knowing that after that comes, debate about whether their lives matter or, whether that was okay or not okay and if it's justified. And so it's really important, I think, because they're really dealing with really heavy things. And then they're only asked for their stories really when it's for research or for to prove that racism exists. So I think having a space where the only purpose is for their own healing and to share and connect with each other is really important just for their well-being. And I think it's about creating the spaces that we owe them to care for them.
Yeah, that is extremely important, especially in the current climate with everything that's going on. So did you have any advice for Black youth dealing with mental health struggles that you wanted to say they were listening to this video right now? If you could just give a quick snippet of advice.
I think that, really believing that you have, the right to feel not well. I think that often we have this idea of resilience as Black people, and specifically as Black youth who are just, we're working through stuff, and it's about the resilience that you have and how you work through things and the strength that you have. And so we don't give ourselves enough time to just recognize that we're struggling and give ourselves the space to work through that. So I think that, the advice that I would give them is, recognize that you're human and that you're allowed to feel bad and you're allowed to be affected by things, and that there's strength in community and knowing that there are other people who are struggling in the same way, and that I think that we work through that by building those connections and, building community and working through it together.
Yeah, so the program just launched pretty recently. What has the response been from the community so far? Have you seen a lot of people participating in events?
Yeah, it's been really great, actually. The pool is a little bit smaller. It's 10 people per session, that kind of thing, but it's a lot of engagement. People are really excited and interested in the topics, and they're really giving their own feedback, and then they're offering up their own perspectives and other topics that they want to explore. And so it's been really nice just seeing the way that they're very much like enthusiastic about like caring for each other. And it seems to be that like, you know, that we're all getting something out of it. And there's like a bit of healing that's already happening just in some of these conversations already.
Yeah, it was really, I think, a great time to launch the program, I guess, with everything that's going on, not only politically, but just in general. Mental health is a real issue right now, and even helping to break that stigma and have people talk about it is vital right now. Yeah, so you mentioned a little bit about the events that you guys are doing. Did you want to go a little bit more in depth with that? And then kind of to piggyback on that, is it all happening virtually right now?
Yeah, so it is all virtual, which I think is kind of nice because people are in different places and it creates a little bit more accessibility for people who might not have been as comfortable coming out to the YWC and that kind of thing. And some of the events that we're doing, I mean, it's the topics are basically to kind of give some context into like mental health for Black people. And so, you know, some of the first topics that we were talking about were like stigma, and the activities were kind of more in like exploring where that comes from and having like this empathetic view. And so we explore kind of like different theories. So like the idea of Sankofa, which is a Ghanaian phrase, which means go back and get it. And so we were exploring that as a theory of like, you know, reaching back into our history, and understanding that history in order to like move forward and like be able to kind of like understand ourselves and go through that.
Yeah. So I think then my last question for you, the program sounds amazing, something that we really need within our community. So where can people go to learn more about it and sign up if they would like to?
Yeah, so they can find information on the Youth Wellness Center's Instagram. It's called, it's at Reach Out Hammond. And in there you can kind of find the post, and that gives some information, as well as the registration link, which also has like the weekly topics.
That was Rayanne Banaga, a peer support worker from the Youth Wellness Center, discussing their new mental health program for Black youth within the community. To learn more about the program or to get involved, you can click the link below. For more MorningFile content, you can visit cfmu.ca.